Anyone can be confident with a full head of hair, but a confident, bold woman, now there's your diamond in the rough.
Please introduce yourself to us.
Hi, my name is Kgomotso Mofokeng, also known as KC.
Could you tell us about your relationship with hair growing up? What role did it play in your childhood?
A huge role. I think hair is the one thing that made me realize that I'm a creative person. And it also, funny story. I used to watch a lot of Disney movies, and there was one in particular where there was Cinderella, and the person who was playing the character Cinderella was Brandy, and she had braids. I was so excited. And I said, "Mom, I'm seeing like a black Cinderella, and she has these long braids, and I want to do those braids, the exact braids." They were so tiny, they were so long. My mom was like, "But and I was like, "Listen, it's gonna make sense." And I got that hairstyle done, and then I thought I could do it better, and I started to cut it myself after the hairdresser did it. A mess. My mom said I'm going to last for 3 months with that hairstyle, and I knew, Gucci, yeah, okay, it's getting real, right? But post that, it's funny that I've been with short hair for about 5 years, then grew my hair again, and then cut it again. But when I was in primary, my stepmom decided to get my hair cut, and I did an escalon cut. I went to the girls' bathroom this one time, and I was wearing pants because it was in winter. And some girls asked, "What is this boy doing in the bathroom?" Yay, that thing haunted me for years. It haunted me for years because I wanted to cut my hair bald for such a long time, but I didn't have the courage to do it because I remember those voices telling me that I looked like a boy. And growing up, a lot of people told me that I looked like my dad. So every time I thought about cutting my head, like clean shave, I'm probably going to look like one of the triplets of my from my parents, because I have two brothers. So yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a journey and a half, from long braids like Cinderella to being afraid of looking like a boy, and here we are.
So you mentioned that in primary, when your stepmother cut your hair, how you were called or rather ridiculed, and people were like, "Oh, you look like a boy," right? And you also mentioned that the ramification of that was that it haunted you.
Yes.
And then later on in your adult years, you cut your hair again, finally embracing this little boy in you, right?
Yes.
In emotionally and mentally, what's the difference between when you decided to cut it in your adult years versus when you were in primary? Like, was it the sort of same emotional journey, only the difference was you decided?
I hated my stepmom for quite some time because I felt like she's the reason why I look like a boy, right? But she wasn't. And I mean, over the years, I used to cut my hair, similar haircuts like Zozibini when she won Miss SA. And it was quite funny when I saw her winning Miss SA and Miss Universe with that haircut, because I had it and I was like, "Oh, she's like my sister. We could be sisters," right? And so during those times when I used to cut my hair in that hairstyle, I was very confident because at least I had hair. Even if it's not the whole head, but there was hair, But when I had to cut my hair like clean shave this time around, I cut it last year in October. That was scary. That was really scary. I had braids on and I was so tired of my hair because it was natural hair and I couldn't take care of it. And so I decided I really need to have a clean start. And I remember going into the bathroom, taking a shower, and I said, "Actually, where are the scissors? I'm chopping it all off." And I cut the braids out. And that was a scary moment, but also a moment of bravery. And I was pleasantly surprised to see myself post having cut my hair and go to the salon to get it properly cut. And I was like, oh, it's actually not that bad. Because I was so scared, and I was telling everybody that was in the house to say that if I look like a boy, don't say anything. But if I look good, then give me all the compliments, So, yeah.
What did this phase teach you as you got used to being stripped away from what has been said to be the thing that makes women beautiful?
It has been, I guess, to appreciate ourselves more. Yeah, appreciate ourselves more. Because when I cut my hair, I thought, okay, plan A is to always have lashes on. Plan B is to always have makeup on so that I still look like a woman. But it's the funniest thing ever. I actually haven't had makeup or lashes in the longest of times with my bald head compared to when I had braids, when I had my wigs on, when I had my afro out. And I felt more beautiful and more comfortable in my skin. So I think appreciating ourselves more would be something that I would share with people. And it's something that I take with myself to say, I actually don't need much. Just taking care of myself physically and I guess taking care of my skin. And that's really all that matters.
So you mentioned how, you went from people perceiving you, or rather saying little boy, you also feeling the same way, right? And then fast forward to your grown-up years, you're like, damn, I look fine, right? In your grown-up years today, do you find that this new look has affected how people treat you, particularly opposite sex? And what are the interactions? Is it more positive than negative? What's sort of those interactions like for you?
It's positive in an interesting way. So I use public transport, and I've never received as many compliments from taxi drivers and passerbys like I have in this bald head. I was so shocked. Because, that thought of, I might look like a boy. Maybe I'm comfortable with looking like a boy, but maybe the boy effect is still full on, And yeah, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And people actually appreciating me and not even thinking that I can rock up makeup. They're like, oh, you're a natural girl, yeah. So when are you getting a haircut? People are actually asking me, girl, it's been a week. You haven't cut your hair. When are you getting your haircut? And I'm like, calm down. So it's been quite interesting to experience how people are interacting with me, particularly the opposite sex. I mean, with most women, it's you're so brave. I'd like to do it, but I'm so scared, which is the same experience that I had. I was very scared of cutting my hair to this level, But with men, it's been quite an interesting one. I never thought that men appreciate women with bald head. I know some may not appreciate ones with wigs. That's another conversation. But it was an interesting one to really experience.
Where are you now? I mean, clearly you're still rocking, the bold chic, but in terms of your attitude towards hair, would you go back to growing it out, to the braids? How long do you think you're going to rock this boldness of yours?
Yes, I'm not sure how long I'm going to rock it, but one thing about me, I play with my hair. I play with my hair to take out the different characters that exist within me. And in this particular moment, I am happy where I am, to a point where I've invested in buying my own hair clippers. So that's going to be a couple of months, maybe a year or two with this look, right? Even when I used to have hair, I used to go for very bold hairstyles. So if I grow my hair, is to do a bold hairstyle that I really want to take off from Pinterest and just pull it off and probably chop the hair again. So yeah.
What message do you hope to share with other women who might be thinking about embracing a similar journey?
Explore. Explore with yourself, with your body, with your style, with your hair. Explore. There's nothing holding you back. If it doesn't work out, we can find mitigation plans. There's dukes, there's wigs, there's dye, there's so many things that you can pull to get your hair to grow again if you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have cut it that short, you know. With clothes as well. If you're a monochromatic girl and you feel like, maybe I'd like to have a touch of color, bright color, pull it off. Buy that bright color. If you don't like it, you can give it to somebody else. But if it turns out to be a good thing, now you know that color looks good on you. You know, so I think explore, have fun. And if it doesn't work out, there's so many other options, so many things to do. It will work out.
In closing, I don't know if to say a message to the little girl or the little boy. What would you like to say to that little girl who had to go through that years back?
Sure. I used to live through television in a fantasy world for the longest time. But I would allow people to come into my world. Or rather, I would allow myself to come into their world and listen to what they have to say about me and all of those things. And so I think a message to the mini me would be to continue living in that fairy tale. Because the fairy tale is the best place one can ever exist in, and that's the place where you are most free and you are not scared to do anything, because the people around, the noise around doesn't matter when you're in your little world. And so that's where we get to be innovative. That's where we get to be creative. And that's where we get to be bold and spread color and smiles. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, that's a wrap.
Right.